Now, I'm really excited to meet my next guest. Well, for you guys to meet my next guest, known as one of the hottest saxophonists in the UK, with over 30 years' experience in the music industry. How on earth have you got that? You look young, honestly.
Thank you.
Over 30 years, and we've managed to pull you away from your busy schedule.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So is Rosemary Quaye?
Quaye.
So where's Quaye from?
Ghana.
I didn't want to assume.
No, it's my dad was from Accra in Ghana.
Okay. So have you been?
Sorry?
Have you been to Ghana?
I've not been, no, unfortunately.
They would love you.
Oh, I'd love to go, but I'm scared of flying.
Oh, okay. Well, let's try and get you there. We'll have to give you some drugs or something.
I'll be up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sleep till you get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because once you get there, you will... I mean, my family are Nigerian.
Right.
So, we're next door, but, Ghana thinks we're trouble, but it's all right. It's okay. Oh. But, Rosemary, I want to first talk to you about, your sax.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously one of the reasons we brought you in is because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and you've been through the mill, but you're a musician as well. But why did you choose the sax?
I've always liked the saxophone, and my dad used to listen to jazz and kind of this guy called Jack McDuff and Sam Cooke, and a lot of kind of the old school jazz, and I used to just like listen to that and think, one day I want to learn the sax myself. And, my parents thought I was in bed, but I snuck downstairs and I looked through the front room door, and my dad was sat there with his whiskey and he was listening to this jazz. And then I'd run back upstairs. But, it was really hearing it at that young age.
I love it.
And I thought, I want to play the saxophone. I want to learn the sax.
Well, I wanted to play the sax, and I got the trumpet
instead.
Right. But it's okay. I always call my mum a dream killer because I could have been playing the sax, but no, she chose the trumpet.
Trumpet's good.
It was not sexy though, is it?
Well, I think it's probably harder to play because you've just got the valves, haven't you?
Yeah. And so I always want to play the sax, and people go, "Oh, it's not too late."
It's not too late.
But
I'll teach you.
Like that time. But yeah, the sax is one of my favourite instruments. Absolutely love them. Mm-hmm. But we've mentioned, so you've had over 30 years experience in the industry, and I still can't believe it. Like I said, you still look so young. But what would you say has been your highlight so far?
My highlights? Well, doing like recording work really, and getting to be able to transition from doing like gigs to doing recording, which is where my new track's out. Highlights, well, I suppose going to South Africa as well for the jazz festival.
Nice.
Which was in, I think, 3 years ago, and I played for Prince Edward, and those kind of like big events. But for me, I want to kind of go more down the recording road, like doing session work. And I've got in with these guys in London from Big Mix Up Records. My producer's called Tony Tools, and he's actually given me the chance to do this because he's heard me play, and he said, I think we can do something together. And then we've put this track together, and so really that's kind of kept me going as well through all the cancer and everything, which was a bit of a shock. So, to be honest,
I'm going to lead to. Well, we're going to start with that. It was breast cancer, wasn't it, that year?
Breast cancer, yeah. It was just a routine scan. I had no symptoms or anything.
And this is the thing, because it's nerve-wracking to hear you say that. Because sometimes we take it for granted.
Exactly. So it's so important that women and men get themselves checked. Because I was kind of thinking, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. There's no cancer in my family. I've got no lumps, no bumps. So I went to, I accepted the invitation, went for the scan, and then I get a letter to say we found an abnormality. And I was just like, I froze. It was like, fear of God. And then subsequently had all the tests, the biopsies, and then it turned out that I had stage 1 invasive cancer and ductal carcinoma in situ. So the whole breast was affected.
Oh, wow.
But I have to say, like Macclesfield Hospital, where I was treated, I mean, the breast care team there are absolutely fantastic, and they got me in pretty fast. They didn't mess around. And my surgeon, Miss Rochenall, who was fantastic, very sympathetic, she said to me, this is what we need to do. We need to remove the whole breast. We can't save the breast, unfortunately. But luckily, I didn't need chemotherapy and I didn't need radiation because they caught it early. However, me being quite an anxious person, I was kind of frightened that it would develop it on the other breast as well. Plus, I wanted symmetry, so I went back to see Mr. Rational and I said, please, can you remove my other breast for prevention and for symmetry? And at first she was a bit concerned that I might be rushing the decision. But then when she found that, I was serious, because I kept banging on and ringing her up and everything, so she agreed to take, my second breast off, which was only like 3 months between. Like, it was April the 1st, the cancer breast, and then July, the preventative one. So now I'm completely flat-chested.
So, because that decision isn't easy.
It's not easy, no.
So how do you even... Because, I wouldn't say I'm an anxious person, but I think quite deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And try and come up with, like, the logical situation, regardless of... I kind of take myself out the equation, go, what do I need? What do you need? So for you, how do you even... Yeah, what was going through your head?
Well, I had mixed feelings. Some of my friends said, oh, God, get your breast reconstructed. You're still young, And I thought, well, I've had some surgery in the past. I've had, like, hip surgery a few times. I've had a hysterectomy. And I just want to say hello to my friend Joe Cabiamella, who is a fantastic surgeon as well. He did my hysterectomy. He's a great guy, and he's given me a lot of support as well in the dark days, because, we're friends, and I'd ring him up and I'd say, I'm really frightened about this. And he taught me through being a surgeon and a cancer expert anyway. He kind of helped me get my head together. But yeah, my fear really was not so much having no breasts, but having breasts and then having it come back. And also, if you have an implant put in, apparently it's harder for them to scan to see if something's brewing. I think if I didn't have cancer and I had very small breasts, I might want implants. But I think once you've had cancer, for me, because I've had it, I'd be too frightened then to have a foreign body put in there and then to have it matched to the other side. And then I know some reconstructions don't work. So, and I've had a lot of support actually from this Facebook group called Flat Friends. I think it's run by a lady called Julie Kant, and she has had made the decision to go flat. And there's a couple of ladies, one called Helen Bradley, who she was actually going through the second mastectomy the same time as me. So we were talking to each other. I think our second surgeries were literally like a week apart.
Wow.
So I was giving her advice on, what to say to her surgeon and what worked for me, because apparently her surgeon was like not sure. So, but eventually she got, the go ahead. So we were literally constantly emailing each other about, what to expect. And she was telling me, comparing the left side, the right side. And we were like, encouraging each other really.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
I always say it always takes for someone else who's been through it to give you advice, because experts can tell you all kinds.
Exactly, but and there's another lady called Gillian Trim, and she's actually had both breasts off. So she sent me photographs of herself and said, listen, Rose, this is how it's going to look without any breasts. Because, you see things on Google and you see images, but to actually have a physical lady who's had it done and send you a picture of herself and said this is how it's going to look, it just kind of gives you a sort of a more personal insight in what the reality would be. But luckily my surgeon was very neat. It's quite a neat job that she's done, and I'm happy with it. And the women on Flat Friends, we're all of the mindset that we don't want reconstruction. So it's like a family in a way. All the women are encouraging each other, and if you have a down day or you're feeling sad or any issues about recurrence or blah blah, but it's predominantly a flat, for flat women. And there's tattoos. Some women have big tattoos all over your chest, and it looks really good. Some women have the mastectomy scars tattooed, and you can't see the scars because it's just a work of art.
Would you go for a tattoo?
I'm thinking possibly, because I've got tattoos anyway. So I'm thinking, that I would rather have a tattoo than reconstruction.
Okay, it's really made me think, because you are the first person that I've met who has gone through breast cancer and refused.
Well, this is it, and I also want to give encouragement to women who maybe can't have reconstruction, because I believe if you've had radiation or maybe your skin reacts badly, the skin won't accept an implant, and some women can't have it, or it's painful, or it rejects. There's one lady I was talking to on Instagram who actually had reconstruction, and she's had nothing but trouble. and she's had 13 surgeries on one breast, and she still has to, she had to have them taken out. I mean, it works for some women, but I just kind of focus on the ones that didn't work for. I'm thinking, I can't face that. So the message is really to say to women, you can be cool, you can be successful, you can be attractive without breasts, because I don't find that this has stopped me doing what I want to do at all,
So during your I'd say, I was going to say episode, was it during this journey?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say you closed down, or was you able to talk more? What kind of, did you have therapy?
Well, when I was first diagnosed, I was in total shock.
Yeah.
I was terrified. And the first thing as soon as they say cancer, I mean, my head's kind of just exploded, and all the other information I was getting kind of went in one ear and out the other. And of course, I go home and start Googling, which is the worst thing. So I actually felt very, very, very frightened at one point, and I thought, I'm going to die of this. I'm going to leave my daughter, my dogs, my mother, my friends. I'm going to die of this. That's really the first thing that entered my mind, and I was frightened, because I don't know what happens when you die. Is there another life? Are you reborn again? It's the fear of the unknown. I mean, no one knows what happens when you die, and it's just that terrified me. I was frightened, but I was never angry. I was just frightened. And then I must admit, my GP put me on some medication to help me sleep, just for the initial shock. And then after about 10 days, when I was kind of coming to terms with it and speaking to my breast care team, which, like I say, were brilliant, I kind of, came to terms with it, really. And it wasn't so much the fact that I was going to lose my breast. It's more the fear of, had it spread? Whereas, what's the treatment plan, and how is it going to affect my work, because I'm self-employed, and all of that.
Because when you mentioned the cancer and the stage 1,
mm-hmm.
to me, as soon as you say all these words, I'm just boggled, because I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Exactly.
What is it?
I was like that when they said DCIS. I'm thinking, what's DCIS? And she said, it's ductal carcinoma in situ. I said, what's that?
Yeah.
Because I just thought that breast cancer is just a lump. You find the lump and that's it. But it's not. I mean, breast cancer can present itself in different ways. Like, there wasn't actually a lump. It was like microcalcifications, which, again, I didn't know what that was. They're just like flecks of... on the mammogram, it looks like flecks of salt.
Okay.
And I think 80% are benign, which are like just calcium deposits, but 20% are malignant. So mine were malignant, plus I had a piece of invasive cancer that had come out of the ducts, or however, I don't know what it was, the milk ducts. So, but my surgeon said that there was a large area of this DCIS. So she said, we can't save the breast because it's all infected, it's all pre-cancer. So,
and and that's the thing, there's no symptoms, there was nothing.
Nothing. This is the crazy thing, nothing. There was, because, no skin changes, no discharge, no redness, no itching, no lumps, bumps, change of shape, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And these are things, the only thing we're told is, if you feel a lump.
Exactly.
And that's what I go on is, can I feel, no, there's no lump, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you said, but then because I'm 38 now.
No way.
I know. I was going to say black don't crack.
Black don't crack. Black don't crack.
But, so you kind of, because they say you have to be a certain age, to go for these checks and blah, blah. So, in my head, I'm thinking, because like I said, a friend of mine was in her 20s.
That's shocking.
Jade Goody was in her 20s. So you kind of say, what if I just feel, I might not have symptoms, but if I just want to get checked, can I just go and ask my doctor or my GP if I can? And these are things that you want to find out, because if I'm not feeling a lump and you haven't got the history in your family,
exactly, I didn't have the history. And it's frightening. I mean, I've had a lump in the right breast, which I've had checked numerous times over the years. It's been like 10 years. I've had this fibrous cyst, they call it. And I've had it ultrasounded. And then about 2 years ago, it became sore. And I'm like, oh, gosh, sleeping was sore and touching it was sore in the shower. So I went to my GP and she said, I'll send you to the Rapid Breast Clinic. So I think any woman who has a concern and she goes to a GP, you know, at least twice, they will send you to the Rapid Breast Clinic where they do the scans and the ultrasound, and they sort of tell you there and then. So I went along for this, and the guy said it's a fibrous cyst, or just like dense breast tissue. He said it can be sore, but it's totally benign and nothing to worry about. So when I got my, like 2 years after, when I got the invitation for this pilot scheme that they were running as part of the Macclesfield Hospital, and I went along for the scan, I actually thought, this is just precautionary, there'll be nothing wrong, the lump here is benign, no problem. So when I get my letter saying we found an abnormality, I'm thinking, it's the right breast. It's the right breast. The man made a mistake. And I'm starting to, you know, Google stuff. And they said, no, it's not your right breast. It's your left that we're concerned about. And I'm like, eh? And you said, the scan's showing up this microcalcifications, which is DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma in situ. And I had not a clue. So part of the ductal carcinoma was aggressive, which had actually started to break out into invasive cancer and invading my breast tissue. So if my breast care nurse, Helen Smith, she's fantastic, she said to me, you know, this scan has saved your life, because if I'd have waited another year or waited until, you know, I started to get symptoms, it could have been too late.
Wow.
Because it would have spread to the lymph nodes, and God knows where it would have gone.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Wow,
so,
Rosemary.
yeah, I'm on tamoxifen. I'm on a preventative drug for 5 years, because I think once you've had invasive cancer, even though it hasn't gone to the lymph nodes, they will put you on this drug where it will, because my cancer was an estrogen fueled, the female hormone, it was estrogen and progesterone. So this tamoxifen, it blocks the estrogen. So if there are any rogue cells, cancer cells that try and get through, the tamoxifen blocks it. Okay. So apparently it reduces the risk of recurrence to up to 30%.
Wow.
So, I mean, I am at low risk, but I think, you know, like you said to me before, how did I feel? I'm kind of, you know, I'm accepting what's happened. I'm happy being flat, but I think at the back of my mind, it's the fear of recurrence. And, you know, talking to the ladies on Flat Friends and, you know, and other cancer sufferers, people who've had it, it's at the back of the mind. It's like, is it going to come back? And I think you think differently once you've had cancer. I mean, my life is the same. I get on with what I'm doing, you know, but it's just there. You know, if you hear an advert or you see something on Facebook about someone who's had cancer, it just throws you right back down again, you know.
Oh, Rosemary, we could talk all day.
We could.
Literally.
We could. But you need to get checked. That's my message here.
Yeah. So ladies, even men.
Men, gentlemen as well.
But women, it's not about the lump. It's
about screening.
You know, and if you're at that age where you've had the letter, do not ignore it.
No, absolutely not.
Don't ignore it at all.
Absolutely not.
But you made me think so much about it. I was saying to me, when was the last time you got checked?
Well, this is it. And I'm very vocal about it. You know, I'm telling everyone. And even, like I say, my manager, Tony Tools from Big Mix Up Records, he's actually incorporated my struggle, my journey with the whole music, and we're in partnership with Against Breast Cancer. Wow. So we're giving them 1% of sales of the track, and I'm actually going to meet them next week as well to discuss about my choice to remain flat-chested. So it's really good that through my music as well we can help other people raise awareness, because on my album sleeve there's a big cancer, Against Breast Cancer logo, again to sort of highlight the issue, because it's not going to go away. It's always there. I think 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer.
But also, if you do decide to have a tattoo on your
yes,
flat
I'm
chair,
thinking.
make sure you take pictures.
I will do.
I want to see some.
Oh, absolutely. I'm thinking of 2 big roses actually. One for the right breast and one for the left breast.
I think the beauty of it now as well is, one of the things I love is, especially for us women, not being ashamed to talk about our parts, our body parts. And, because for a long time it was always thought, oh no, you can't talk about that. Oh no, you can't breastfeed in public.
Well, that's part of the problem, you see. People are like, hiding away and don't want to discuss it. But it's a lifesaver.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm hoping that because I have been so vocal about it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, I'm hoping that I have helped a lot of women. I mean, people have seen me in the street or in the shops and said, "Oh, Rose, I've been to get checked. I've got an appointment. I've seen your story and I'm going to get checked." And I'm thinking, good. Hopefully it'll be clear. But if it's not, hey, it could just save your life.
No, you've made me think about it, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners will be thinking as well.
It's very important.
So your song, Take Me to the Love.
Take Me to the Love, yes.
So what is it about?
It's a dance track.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's about taking me to the love. So yeah, my producers wrote the track and I wrote the sax parts. It's just like a dance track.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, I love it.
So, and it's kind of it's more, well, there's like backing vocals, but the sax is the main part.
Yeah.
Because I have done stuff where the vocalist has been the main throughout the track and I've just been doing little bits, but we've turned it round. So it's like a sax dance track with backing vocals.
Fab.
So yeah, hopefully it'll get people boogieing.
Definitely. Oh, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh no, thank you.
And stay in touch.
Absolutely.
Because I just want to follow your journey.
Oh yeah, I'd
really
love you
do.
to. I'd love you to.
And it's you've made me think so much.
Oh, that's good.
You really
that's
have.
good. So
Thank
important. You. And thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.